Hi everybody, welcome to an MLG Gamebattles $5,000 ladder winners bracket final game here between Team Dignitas and Eosin plus 4. I am Maut, thanks for joining me. With me tonight is Anacletus. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Great, how are you?
I'm doing really well. We had a pretty interesting Dota HUD series this afternoon for those of you that watched that, but of course it is rather late now. We have a best of one series between Dignitas and Eosin plus 4. Both teams I think we're both very familiar with. Eosin plus 4 is a pretty big name, I think, in the North American amateur circuit. You think about teams like Gratz, the Dark Falco Stack, other teams that have played a lot. Hello, this is Dog, if you want to go back that far. And Eosin plus 4, they've been playing a lot, and of course SCCS or Sex, if you want to call it like that. And of course, there's no introduction needed for Dignitas, so both some big name teams right now, and hopefully we'll see some good games.
Yeah. Yep. Have some friends on both teams, so it's really hard to choose a side here, but see how this goes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's the tough part here. You got to stay as objective as possible when you're casting these games. But of course, when you get friends involved, then everything changes. But both teams I'm pretty fond of, I have to say. I've casted Eosin plus 4 numerous times, as well as Dignitas. So, seeing both playstyles. Dignitas, of course, they like to sit on some farm for AOI's 1,000, get some farm going for him, try to get him instant team fights later on into the game, and then, of course, just really take that advantage in the late point of the game. But then Eosin plus 4, of course, they do some rather wonky stuff. I've seen them try some interesting strategies, of course. Back in an SCCS game, they actually picked up the Wisp as well as the Storm Spirit and actually played it pretty effectively. But that was against an amateur team. They're going up against a pro team right now. Looking at the bans real quick, the Phantom Lancer from Team Dignitas as well as the Nyx Assassin, the Wisp, and of course the Bat Rider from Eosin plus 4. Dignitas does have the first pickup here. Kodal could be something they might go for here, and we'll have to see. But do you expect any sort of strange pickups here for either of these teams right now?
Oh yeah, I've seen both these teams play against each other and other stuff like that, and generally, I think Eosin might go for a safe lane solo hero like Luna or something like that. They'll probably try and give up a Darkseer because they like playing against Darkseer and like picking cool aggro tri lanes and stuff like that. And from when I've seen Dignitas play against Eosin and them, they've done like really strange safe lane tri lanes and just battled tri-lanes, and that's been the game decider. But there's an early bear pickup, so they may be trying to run an aggro tri-lane Dignitas already.
And that could be interesting, and I love tri-lane versus tri-lane battles. It always provides for an excellent game. It usually provides for a lot of bloodshed early on, and that's really what I like about Dota, is just the early aggression that comes out sometimes. I mean, I do enjoy a bit of just tension building over the game. It's not always enjoyable to have like one team just absolutely dominate another team in an aggressive tri-lane early on, but of course, they will pick up the Lifestealer here for Eosin plus 4, and they've got one more pick as well. So, the Lone Druid for Team Dignitas was the first pick, like you mentioned right now, but of course, I think both heroes are very strong. Lone Druid's so good at pushing and Lifestealer, so good at ganking and team fighting right now, but I think if Lone Druid has been played a lot more recently, I think that they really like going for that pushing lineup, maybe even get early radiance or anything like that. So, I know it's a little bit early here, but what do you see coming with, of course, Team Dignitas with this Lone Druid? Because, I mean, I don't know if, usually you see him in the side lane, but you talked about tri-lanes as well. What do you think that Team Dignitas will pick up next?
Well, Lone Druid's really strong in, safe lane solo, 1v1 scenarios. That hero is pretty hard to beat 1v1. So, generally with a pickup like that, you're not going to see him mid, and he's not necessarily great in, off-laning, because, a lot of teams will stop the bear from being able to pull creeps and stuff like that. So, what I think might happen is they'll put it in their top safe lane solo, and that they'll pick an aggro try here. But the other team has Nyx, and that's really interesting because Nyx can beat the crap out of the bear, and at the same time, Bear's really good against Nyx because if he hits the lucky roots, then it's all over for either of them. So
yeah,
they both sort of counter each other.
Yeah, that's a good point. And every time you say aggro tri lane, I just think of WoW. For any of you that are WoW players or even just MMO players, aggro is just a term that happens all the time, at least for me. But anyways, like you were saying, I think that would definitely be a good choice for Dignitas. The Lone Druid, of course, being in that safe lane solo, works really well up against any solo hero, whether it be Bounty Hunter, things like that. They pick up the Rubik as well. But if they go for an aggressive tri-lane here against Eosin plus 4, they already have the Shadow Demon available for them, which is a really good defensive hero, I think, and certainly could be put to the test right now. So Rubik's going to be picked up for Dignitas as well as the Darkseer. One more for Eosin plus 4. And we definitely could see an aggressive tri-lane here, but I like Dignitas' drafting strategy. They pick up the Darkseer, they pick up the Lone Druid, and this sort of doesn't... It's not as easy to define what they're going to do right now, just because of the different styles of heroes they're picking up here.
10 seconds remaining.
Darkseer could mid. He's an alright mid. He's pretty tanky. He's not that hard to gank. He has ways to get CS, but he doesn't really have that many that much gank potential to actually go and do things and make use of that farm. They might actually put Darkseer in an aggro tri lane. If he could Ion Shell himself and run next to someone who gets lifted. But the only problem is that if they use a defensive tri lane Shadow Demon, whoever gets lifted will get disrupted right away, and that'll be pretty tough to deal with. So I don't know right now. They have options up on the board, but I'm fairly certain that bear, they can't really run a tri lane with the bear because he just doesn't offer anything other than just hitting people at level 1.
Yeah.
And he sort of needs solo levels, so I'm fairly certain that lane's already locked in and that he's solo top. But Eosin and them may run an aggressive tri lane and leave a solo bottom if Dignitas goes for an aggressive tri lane as well and just dodge it. But
there certainly are a lot of different options here. I mean, you make a good point. Lone Druid certainly needs those levels. He needs that solo experience as well. The Darkseer certainly could go mid, and something I've seen earlier. And you made up a good point here with Dignitas, of course. And they could go with a Darkseer in an aggressive tri lane. That's not necessarily the best use of him, of course. If you get farm on the Darkseer, yes, it gives you that early mech as well, which you can get in mid very quickly, but at the same time, in an aggressive tri lane, you could also get kills, but potentially maybe not as many levels as well. So the Brewmaster pickup from Eosin +4, certainly interesting. They'll probably send him mid, I'd imagine, but you really never know. Meanwhile, we're going to get through the pick ban phase, Visage ban from Eosin, as well as the Lina and the Leshrac ban from Dignitas, just trying to get rid of that secondary stun, of course, following up with that Shadow Demon. There are plenty available, of course, but we'll have to see if they do ban out everything. And Eosin +4, they could pick up another support that could be rather interesting, something that we don't see too often, but I'm not really sure here.
I think if Coddle's not banned here, he's going to get picked up by one team. Both their heroes are banning extra supports for tri lanes, and I think that their tri lanes right now are Darkseer, Rubik, and Shadow Demon, Brewmaster, and I think that they're actually going to try versus try. Lifestealer, I think that Brew's mid, but I think that they are going to try versus try, just based off the bans. But I don't know. I don't know why they're not really banning Coddle, because that would be pretty strong for either team. But maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think with Rubik here as well, Dignitas could certainly benefit from picking up the Keeper of the Light. The last ban was from Magnus, so if you do ban out that Coddle, then you let the Magnus through. And with Darkseer, that might not be the best available option, of course, considering that there is sort of a free mid spot here for Dignitas right now. And yeah, I mean, the more we look at it, the more we think aggressive tri lane versus tri lane right now, and that's going to be important to note early on in the game. And whoever really comes out ahead in that one will be in a good position, but it's certainly going to be interesting right now. We have to see what Dignitas is going to pick up next. We did talk about the Coddle. They certainly needed another support in a mid laner. Probably, I'm trying to think if they're going to actually send that Darkseer in a tri lane, but we'll have to see, of course. Remember, this is a best of 1 series right now, so everything's really... I don't want to say everything's on the line because there is a lower bracket, and if whoever does lose this is going to go down there. And already, I mean, both teams are assured a prize pool, a chunk of the prize pool anyway, so that's pretty important to know. Dignitas taking a lot of time to figure out what they want to go for next. They've got about 35 seconds left on reserve time, as you can see. Eosin +4, meanwhile, they're sitting on 3 heroes as well, of course, and they're waiting to see what Dignitas is going to go right now. And, well, we can theory craft until we're blue in the face, but really we don't know what they're going to go until... I mean, we have some idea as to what they're going to do, but at the same time, they could pick something ridiculous like the Clockwork. Boom. See?
I think that might be a Clockwork in the tri lane as well. I think that it'll be a Darkseer, Rubik, Clockwork tri lane. That's pretty cool, though. Cogs does actually a fair amount of damage, and it's really awesome at harassing early on. It does, I believe, 70 damage, as well as taking 70 mana away from the other team for only 50 mana. So it's pretty awesome just for harass, if anything. So each time that they run in and get hit out by it, that takes a considerable amount of mana, which makes it so that Eosin and them, if they're running a tri lane against them, can't really battle as much, And even, if they don't put in the tri lane in a 1v1 scenario, he can get rid of, a lot of the other heroes' harass ability by just getting rid of their mana, if he's against Panda mid or something. But,
absolutely. And you know what is even scarier than that is if you get caught in those cogs, you're going to probably have an Iron Shell on the Clockwork's head, and you're probably just going to get absolutely obliterated very quickly. I mean, there's just so much kill potential in that lane if they decide to send that in that tri lane, and I think certainly they could do so with that Lone Druid in the, of course, the solo safe lane. Of course, Eosin +4, they've got 23 reserve time seconds of their own. They'll think about something to pick up here, and we'll see. I mean, they're in a good position as well with their heroes right now. I think Primal Split is definitely, especially against somebody like a Darkseer, or I mean, really any of these heroes would be great. But of course, the mana drain as well, like you talked about from those cogs, could certainly be
5 seconds
counterproductive for that Brewmaster. And they're going to go for Sven, which is interesting, which makes me think that that's going to be sort of a support gank Sven, because there's not a whole lot of room for him to work with here unless they want to put him like in a solo lane against the Lone Druid, which I just don't see happening, but maybe I'm wrong.
It could also be the bear, Panda or Lifestealer against the bear, but I'm gonna have to agree with you that it might be a support Sven. But something to keep in mind though is that like his spells cost a lot of mana, so that like cogs could really make it so that he can't do much early on. So he has to really watch his positioning and make sure to just not run at the cogs if he is. But also like their tri-lane, if they do run Clockwork and Darkseer and stuff like that, then they always have Disrupt to stop that initiation. Yeah, I think that's a TA mid and an aggressive tri-lane with Darkseer, Rubik, Clockwork. So.
And you called it earlier, so I think that was definitely a good call there. Of course, I did not expect to see the Darkseer plus the Clockwork and a Rubik in a tri-lane together, but it might be just that. Templar Assassin mid would be good. Eosin +4, they had their last pickup here. I'm not sure what they're going to go for. I mean, I imagine Sven with the Shadow Demon Lifestealer, like I was talking about earlier, like we were discussing in that tri-lane. Brewman, and then get aside a safe lane hero here, which I'm not really sure what they can go for. They actually have a decent amount of team fight right now on the side of Eosin +4. Stormhammer could be really good. I think Templar Assassin's a great pickup. They're going to pick up the Clinks, and that's going to be their solo hero, I'd imagine. So, all right, we're going to jump into the game, and that's an interesting pickup and could be pretty detrimental to the opposing team, so we'll have to see how that is.
I think that Eosin and them are going to think that that's a solo Darkseer bottom or something. I normally see Eosin run solo safe lane as his hero, so that may be him solo bottom trying to play against the Darkseer, but he may find himself against a tri-lane, but we'll see what they lane. So.
Yeah, we're going to get into the game in just a minute, waiting on the last person here from Eosin +4, one of those 4 people, of course. Eosin already on that Lifestealer. Once again, thanks for joining us here on Neo Dota. This is going to be the MLG Gamebattles, the ladder, the winter bracket finals. So here we go. Some introductions here. On the side of Eosin +4, we're going to see Eosin on that Lifestealer. Guanzo will be on the Clinks. 4 will be on the Sven. Rorgok will be on the Shadow Demon. And Bisa will be on the Brewmaster. Meanwhile, on the side of Dignitas, we're going to see Way Too Sexy on the Templar Assassin. Universe will be on the Darkseer. Going to see Aoi 2000 on the Lone Druid. Tides of Time on the Clockwork. Going to finish it all off. Monolith, the manager, will be on the Rubik. Shout out to Charlie. And they're going to head down to the bottom lane looking for some early aggression.
Yep. Right now, both teams are securing their jungles, making sure that their camps and stuff like that don't get warded. So, and just really making sure that the other team isn't gonna like go gank their bear or something like that at level 1. So, good play by both teams. You know, just playing it safe and making sure that everything's fine. Which I mean, I really wouldn't expect anything less with this being a best of 1, though.
Yeah,
trying
exactly.
Something pretty insane would be really, really weird. And I think both teams are just trying to do their best to make sure that they don't get cheesed out.
I mean, I know both teams have a bit of brass. I've seen Dignitas recently, like, smoke into Roche. I've seen, you know, Eosin +4 try some crazy strategies, but they're not going to do anything like that early on here. I mean, you've got to keep this in mind that even though, yes, it is a best of 1 and it's not necessarily for the biggest tournament in the world, there's still a decent amount of prize pool on the line here, and getting to be in the best position that you could possibly be in is what you really want. And Dignitas is not going to take this series lightly. I mean, this is against a team who's pretty well known, I think, in the North American amateur scene. They've got quite a few fans in the chat. Shout out to the fans of Eosin +4 in chat. So, thanks you guys for joining us, of course. I am Maut. With me tonight is Anacletus, and we're going to jump into the game. As the game does start, Aoi 2000 now sitting actually down here in the bottom lane with the Monolith as well as Tides of Time. So this is more looking like he's going to be in a tri-lane with the Rubik and the Clockwork, which we pretty much all but ruled out. Very interestingly.
Yeah, I really didn't expect that, so it's a pleasant surprise. But Clinks against Darkseer is pretty favored for Clinks. So, you know, once he gets levels and stuff like that, he just does such huge burst DPS that unless the Darkseer really outplays the Clinks and can get a kill on him or something like that early, then he's going to have a lot of trouble later on. With this tri-lane too, the bear doesn't really offer much to like actually get CS if their supports do stuff like that, and they don't really have that much like potential to stop people from killing other than the Clockwork. Like if one of them, if the bear or Rubik gets disrupted and stunned, I think that they're basically dead unless he lands an awesome cogs. So, but Tides hasn't skilled yet, so you could still go cogs. But they don't really have any kill potential, I don't think, unless their TA comes and ganks. And as well as Brewmaster against TA mid is actually a decent matchup for Brewmaster just because of Haze. And, you know, TA can't really just go and kill Brewmaster because he's so tanky. So I think that Eosin in 4 actually has the better laning setup right now. So yeah.
You talked about harass from Clinks in the top lane, and already you see Universe takes quite a bit of damage, not only from these creeps, but from Eosin, or Guanzo, excuse me, as well. So, I mean, Guanzo's going to get some last hits as well. This bottom lane, like you talked about, is going to be tough for this lone Druid. I mean, like you said, doesn't offer too much in terms of, you know, getting kills early on, whereas you've got a pretty aggressive tri lane here, and they're just waiting for a moment to be aggressive. But Feast was actually skilled first from Eosin, and going for the lifesteal first. For whatever reason, I guess they're just going to wait to be aggressive here. Tides of Time is going to pause the game real quick, and we're going to get a pause.
I think the reason that he chose to go Feast was because you actually take a huge amount of health from the bear if he ever brings the bear up, and it also does a huge amount of damage. So
that's a good point.
Yeah. Also, watch what Clinks is doing up top. I've actually never seen this before. I'm sure people have done it before, but I don't know. Maybe I just don't watch a lot of awesome Clinks, but he's pulling him up to like that little choke point there, so he's not taking that much damage from the creeps. That's really awesome.
Absolutely. Universe is having kind of a rough time. I mean, he's going to get his salve popped off there. He is sitting at 16 last hits, which is great. Meanwhile, though, Cogs flying out from Tides of Time. They were trying to be aggressive. There's the disruption going in the bottom lane right now. And Tides could be in some trouble. He's going to try to eat a tree. He's going to get Stormhammered. There's going to be the open wounds as well. Tides of Time maybe going down. And Rorgak will get the kill there. First blood for that. And now he'll get out as well. But 0-4 taking some damage here. Monolith has enough for a Fable. There's going to be the Soul Catcher going on the bear. Rorgak should not have gone that way. And he's actually taking quite a bit of damage from Owie 2000. He's going to turn around and get this kill. It looks like one more last hit. Yes, and it will go for Owie 2000. Nice kill there. But first blood still going for him.
You shouldn't have gone and Soul Catcher there. Small mistake to go back in and got greedy. But
we talked about, you know, when we were sort of waiting for the game to start, we talked about small engagements, small things that teams do right, they do wrong. And of course, that was just one of those little mistakes where they could have just taken first blood and walked away without anything, you know, going wrong for them. They lose a kill, and not only do they lose a kill, they lose it to Owie, who's going to not only, that's going to increase his farm by at least a little bit. So you have to keep that in mind. I mean, the kill was good for them to get the first blood. They didn't get it for the Nakes or anything, but it's not a huge deal. And at the same time, though, you just can't really have these small mistakes happen, especially against a team like Dignitas. So.
Yeah, the farm is really, and even it's somewhat middle. It's somewhat in the middle. It's somewhat even. Panda only has 11 last hits, and TA is 17, which you'd expect TA to win that. But up top, it really, I just feel like Clink should have more last hits. Darkseer is 27, so near perfect, and Clink's is 15. But
I think it's a tough time for Clinks. He's got to sit underneath the tower and then last hit perfectly. Meanwhile, there might be some aggression coming bottom. I think Tides of Time was looking to go, but I mean, there's not really much they can do to be aggressive down here unless they get a really good entangle proc from Owie's bear. But I mean, that bear's only level 2 right now. He's got to make it level 3 before he can get that entangling clause going for him. Of course, the panda skin that he's got going right now, pretty big fan of that. So it's a nice little skin.
I have 2.
Do you want to give me one? Oh, meanwhile, telekinesis onto Eosin. He's taking some damage. He's alright, though. Fadebolt's going to fly up, but there's nothing really available. I mean, Tides wasn't there. He's still only level 1, by the way, so Tides of Time. Having a little bit of a tough time here. Monolith's sitting at 3, so looking at experience, as you can see, yep, Tides is the lowest in terms of levels. Rorgak's sitting at level 2 right now, so Tides is going to sit here, soak some experience. Now he's got level 2, as you can see. Looking at last hits right now, 19, of course, for the Clinks. There's 24 for the TA in the mid lane. That's not a big surprise there. And 34 up in the top lane for Universe. He's just been tanking creep waves like it's his job, but that's kind of because it is. So, meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Sven going to get the kill on Tides of Time, but there's going to be a disruption going in. The Spear Bear taking some damage. Eosin going to get fade bolted, but he'll be okay. Monolith out of mana now, so they'll get another kill there. And Clink's actually taking a lot of damage here in the top lane. Very close to going down. He actually has to ghost walk away. And that should be the end of the aggression there, so... Alright.
Yeah, Darkseer's done a really good job of maintaining his farm while still harassing out the Clinks. What a lot of people make the mistake of doing as the Darkseers, they'll just go hit the creeps, hit the creeps, hit the creeps. Meanwhile, the Clinks is just getting free farm, and the Clinks will get a really fast Orchid and just come kill the Darkseer or something like that. Or he could even just go invisible and run at him with Strafe and kill him. But he's done a really good job of just, you know, killing the creeps there and then running at him with just Ion Shell and just doing the damage to get him out of the lane and not get last hit.
And they already take down the top tower because of that Darkseer. He's doing a very nice job. Of course, that is Universe. He's not not just some no-name. He's a really good player, as I'm sure many of you know. But meanwhile, trying to get some farm down here in this bottom lane, 0-4 is going to be able to deny. Eosin sitting at 19 last hits. So, I mean, there's a little small discrepancy between the two highest and then the three next who are on Eosin +4. Meanwhile, looking for that regen rune. Oh, nice denial there from Urgak. So that could have gone poorly if Way Too Sexy had picked that up. But now he's got no bottle charge. He's going to have to crow that as the courier is coming in. Just in time there, and he's not going to go for a gank. He might have done so if they hadn't seen him there, but no dire wards to give them vision. There is one right in lane, interestingly enough, but other than that, I mean, not a whole lot of aggression coming right now, just trying to get some room for both teams to farm. Way Too Sexy sitting on 31 last hits. He's got phase boots, so standard build there. Beast is sitting at 26, so he's going to try to get a Blink Dagger. He's got a bottle. He's got level 7, so he's got his split available. He can actually go and gank when necessary. Universe at 7, going to have, of course, a couple points at a vacuum. 3 or 4, I'd imagine, before he puts 1 into wall. Some people like to differentiate about what, you know, they like to go for in terms of their item builds, or skill builds, excuse me, on Darkseer. Sometimes you get that 3 points in a vacuum into that 1 into wall, but he's going to smartly TP away, realizing that, of course, Visa was missing, so there was no real vision there, but they knew, I think, that he was coming to gank top, so Universe just TP'd right out of there. Smart move by him.
Yeah, I think that once they realized that he was missing and they didn't see him show up bottom, that, you know, I guess they just knew that he was going top, and that was really good TP. Crisis averted.
Crisis averted, that's right. He was able to get out of there, and any sort of feeding action could not have happened there. So they're actually taking quite a bit of health. There's going to be an Entangle proc on Eosin, but they're going to take this bear down with open wounds, and Eosin will get that kill. TP rotation coming in from the Templar Assassin. Eosin doesn't have rage anymore. He's going to get caught up, but the Clogs on the wrong side of him. Meanwhile, 0-4 might be in some trouble here, taking a bit of damage. There's Refraction going. 0-4 is going to get brought down here. There's Soul Catcher onto Hour 2000. He's taking a bit of damage from the illusions, but it's not going to matter. So nice kill there for Dignitas. They have to rotate everybody in, though, for that kill. And they only get one of them, too, so.
Yep, meanwhile, the Clinks is free farming top, and he is just getting closer to his Orchid, what's really interesting is that Darkseer went for boots instead of his Soul Ring, which Guanzo, I think, acted, you know, a lot of the time what you'll see a lot of Clinks do is they'll go straight for Orchid without getting boots, but I think that he actually checked his items and saw that Darkseer went for boots instead of just going for Soul Ring, so he got boots in, like, return of that, so that, you know, if Darkseer runs at him, then he can actually out-movement him.
Speaking of running at somebody, Howie 2000 needs to run right away. He's very tanky. He's going to get an Entangle proc on Eosin, but there's really nothing he could do. He's also Soul Catchered up right now. The bear doing a nice job of blocking that path off. And that could have been pretty bad, but once again, crisis averted for Dignitas this time around, whereas Howie 2000 could have been in some pretty bad trouble, but he's alright, so he'll back off. And actually, a TP coming out now. I didn't mean to cut you off, I apologize. And a denial of the bottom lane tower for Eosin +4.
Oh, no problem. I was just talking about the item choices they both made, which were sort of like a meta game in themselves. Because if Darkseer's faster than Clinks, then he can just run at him with his Ion Shell on. There's nothing he can really do par of Skeleton Walk to get away, but Darkseer can always surge. And it's always
they're getting each other's heads right now.
Yep.
Super meta gameplay.
Oh yeah.
Coming out from both players. Meanwhile, Way Too Sexy in the top lane, getting 50 last hits right now. Clinks is at 48, so he's actually increased his farm pretty substantially since we last saw. He's got one Oblivion Staff on him. The other will be coming momentarily. Well, as soon as he can get the farm for it. I shouldn't say momentarily. It might take a while. TP coming into the mid lane right now. There's 3 heroes here for Dignitas. They're going to try to be aggressive on Bisa, who has that split available. So I think there should be a hook. No, actually only level 3 for the Clockwork. I was going to say there should be a hook shot available, but I forgot he had a rough start. So ties of time, still the lowest in terms of experience right now, and it's 2-2. I want to check the graphs real quick before we get into any sort of engagement. 500 right now for Dignitas in terms of experience. Also 2,000 in terms of gold, so they have a nice little lead going for them right now, which is surprising. I didn't think it would be that much. There's the trap going on to Bisa. There's going to be the telekinesis. He can split. In fact, will do so. They're just going to make him waste that. He's going to try to chase this. Really shouldn't, but Monolith is actually going to go down, so they will pick up that kill. So shows what I know right now, because 0-4 and Rorgek had rotated in. Nice pickup there from Eosin +4. Very nice job there. And that split is going to be going down. Meanwhile, DD up for Way Too Sexy, and they have to be very careful about this.
Oh yeah, I think that even though they're behind on golden XP, that what they're behind on isn't significant right now. Like their team, it appears to have a lot more of gank potential. Like with Clinks, once he picks up his Orchid, I don't think that there's a single hero on the map that will like really fare up against Clinks 1 vs 1, including Bear. Like if he gets a lucky root, he might be able to fight him, but in general, if Clinks can get off his Orchid and everything, I think he'll do some serious damage to the Bear.
Absolutely.
That and Bear really doesn't have that much farm, you know, because they traded farm with him bottom to the Nikes, so which the Nikes actually out farmed them bottom, but they still did pulls and everything. So I think that their overall golden XP was increased on their supports and everything more so than Eosin and them got bottom, apart from the kills.
Right. So we will get a pause coming out from Universe right now. And he's actually very close to a mech himself. He's sitting at headdress and buckler right now. 300 gold in the bank, so that mech will be done soon. Looking at everybody else's items, he's actually doing pretty well for himself. Way too sexy. He's got the bottle and the phase boots, but that's about it. We already talked about the Clinks and him getting that orchid pretty quickly, and he'll be done with that soon. Well, as soon as he can get the recipe as well as the other Oblivion staff. The phase boots are done on the lifestealers, only at level 5, but of course in that aggressive tri-lane, which they did a decent bit of damage right now, but they really didn't win it outright. So, and we saw that from the graph when we were talking about that a moment ago. But other than that, right now they did pick up a kill in the mid lane here. Still waiting on Universe to reconnect. We'll have to see what he's up to here in terms of maybe his ping is having some trouble. So we'll have to find out.
Both,
and down to the bottom lane.
Both Panda and Lifestealer both have bracers, and I think that they're both going to go for Django, but I don't think that either of them realize it. Because both heroes don't really need it. Like, Panda could use the mana cap and stuff like that, but I don't think Lifestealer necessarily needs Django. I don't know why I got the bracer. Maybe just a casual bracer, and I could be wrong, but I actually think that there's a lack of communication that happened there. We'll see.
And that's a problem if they both pick that up. That's not something that you would like to have usually. One or the other would be fine, but well, we'll find out once we get into the game. The casual bracer, I mean, I don't know if it needs any more tankiness. It's always nice to have a little bit, and the extra damage as well. But we'll have to see. Maybe it's just another meta gameplay coming in from Eosin +4.
Yep.
Still waiting on Universe, and I don't know.
I think that right now, it's up to Dignitas and them to really control the flow of the game, because if they just sort of like sit back and let Eosin and them get all their items up, like if they let Lifestealer get one item, if they let Panda get his blink, if they let Clinks get his full orchid, then they might actually be in some trouble here. Because right now I think that once, you know, Darkseer gets his mech and TA, which is maybe 500, 600 gold off of his blink, gets his blink, then they might start actually being a lot more active on the map, like pushing towers mid and stuff like that, and really pressing for team fights. Because I think that right now that they'd actually win some of the team fights, especially with Clockwork in the fights with Cogs, because he has level 2 Cogs right now instead of anything else, which I think is actually a pretty good choice, because it drains 120 mana right off the bat. So if you were to get like Panda or someone like that in there, and he were to already stomp and he were to hit him with it, then, you know, like that, it could very well mean that he can't split.
Yeah, and that's going to be important. And I definitely agree with you. I think once they get their items on Dignitas' side, they've got the Bear. That Bear is made to be pushing aggressively early on. He's got Demolish on him. Going to see Universe reconnect, waiting on, of course, Monolith to get back into the game. He'll reconnect as well. So, but, like, yeah, I mean, definitely. If you've got the mech, go for a tower, go for some pushing. So, meanwhile, downstairs, some aggressive yelling. I'm not sure if you can hear that on the Skype call, but...
Yeah, I do hear it.
It's hockey night. It's important.
Taco night?
All right.
Nice.
Hockey, not taco.
Taco
I wish it was
sounds
taco
better.
night. Taco does sound better. Oh, Monolith weapon. Why? Why? So, some more, this is a long pause. We're just trying to
get.
Yeah, I mean, look, Monolith. We just want to play the game now. Just enough of this craziness. We just want to play. Eosin
is like completely evened out. Like if you look at it, it looks like one of those I don't know, one of those like cubic graphs or something like that.
It looks to me like a lie detector test. It honestly does, until it gets to like right at 8 minutes where it just stays flat for.
They just died.
It's flatline. Oh no,
lie detector test.
Yeah, it's a heart monitor. That XP graph died. It is dead. It is not coming back to life. It's going to stay at 0 for a long time. Meanwhile, gold is a little bit more graph looking.
That's not even really that much for 10 minutes. Like 1,500 gold, you know, depending on who it's on, really isn't that big of a deal.
I don't know, maybe. I've seen some... I feel like that's kind of a big lead, but it's not insurmountable. Meanwhile, Universe is going to play aggressively here, looking for a vacuum. Going to miss it on Bisa. There's a disruption coming out of Universe as well. It's going to be some mana gone, but he's got Arcane Boots, so not a big deal there. Jumping back into the game, And we're good to go. We're back in the game, baby. Yeah, we're good to go. So, Bisa as well as O4 and Rorgak are going to be back here, and they're pressuring this tower right now, but it looks like Dignitas will back up themselves. Aoi 2000 trying to get some room to farm. He's actually only sitting on 35 last hits, which, I mean, if you know Aoi, he likes to be all about his farm, and it's not going the greatest for him, but at the same time, they're doing okay. They could probably pressure towers a little bit more if they wanted to, but they'll push out bottom and maybe go for a gank, but Eosin's actually just going to come right in on Aoi, and he'll back him off. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Guanzo, 1,300 gold, very close to that second Oblivion staff, and then, of course, right afterwards, he'll be very close to that Orchid, and having that Silent Stick is going to be nice to have against multiple heroes, which we talked about. I think any hero would be good on. Obviously, I think it's probably best suited to go up against Universe. If you can get that off on Universe before he can get his wall, before he can get his vacuum, that certainly could be a big deal. And we'll have to see how that does play out right now. Still, thanks for joining Search on Neo Dota.
I think what's sort of interesting is that Universe chose to get 2 in Surge rather than 1 when he was only against the solo Clinks. I think what the standard build is right now against the solo hero, what I guess considered standard, we still only get 1 in Surge so that you can get your wall at 10 and 11. I mean, like, it's only a minor change, and I'm sure that there's reasoning behind it, but just these small little build changes, stuff like that. And what happened mid was it looked like they were trying to push it because they knew Pandol was on cooldown from the previous time that they tried to gank him. But the Clinks did a good job of pushing top and forcing someone to teleport, otherwise they'd lose that tower. So I think that there's a lot of communication going on right now between Eosin and them.
Which is good. Which is good. That's what you need. I mean, that's how you win games. There was a smoke gank coming out top, and that was probably some more communication, but Guanzo actually might get caught out here. He's got Shadow Walk, but I'm pretty sure one of these 3 heroes probably has some sort of detection. Yep, there's a gem on Clockwork. Wow. Okay, that's a really early gem.
Ballsy. Especially to have on a level 3 Clockwork. The hero that's going to get caught in cogs in the middle of fights.
Alright, wait a second. Somebody made an Equilibrium reference in chat. You're my man, the gate is down. Not without incident. Alright, Christian Bale. It's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's pretty good. It's like 1984, but more cheesy. If you're into that sort of thing.
Movie shoutouts during a Dota stream.
Dude, whatever. They don't care. I mean, if there's action going on, then I'll shut up and I'll just go into I'll go into big game voice mode. But until that happens, then they can just deal with my commentating on shit that I enjoy. Just saying.
The Bear's going for Maelstrom. He's not going for Radiance or anything like that. He has the Glove of Haste up and has an extra 800 gold, so he's really not close to anything right now.
Meanwhile, Guanzo with the Infest Bomb. Oh, Aoi 2000 is going to get popped up. He is in some trouble. Aoi is going to go down. And man, there was the Nake's Bomb, and it just hits like a truck. I mean, as soon as that Orchid came out, I just knew. I'm like, there's nothing they can do about this. There was no one even close to rotate in, and it would have been too late anyway. So, very nice pickup there. Oh, big Stormhammer from O4. They're going to look to go here. Bisa is going to clap, and now he's going to split. Oh, nice vacuum into the wall. Doing some damage there. O4 has to back off. Meanwhile, way too sexy. Going to continue to chase, but he's alone. There's going to be disruption defensively on O4, saving his life for the time being, and that should be the end of the aggression there, it looks like. I'm going to throw the rock on a Universe, but that should be it. Backing off to the tower, we see the rest of the side of Eosin +4, and that's, alright, the wall used. The ult used from Panda. No one goes down, that's surprising. I'm surprised that
he missed
that ended without incident.
If he had hit the Thunderclap, the Rubik would have died, and they would have gotten out fine, but he missed the Thunderclap, so.
That's pretty important. I think that's why he needs that blink. I mean, or even Drum, like you were talking about, is also a big pickup. Is the Eosin going to build it is the question. Eosin actually already has it, so yeah. FNC build, partially completed. Well, I mean, that's pretty much what it is. It's just phase and a Drum, and whatever you'd like to go afterward is really dependent on who you're playing against. Armlet's sometimes the choice. I mean, I've seen multiple things work. I've even seen SNY work somehow on a phase boot Drum Nake, so, there's multiple choices you can go for.
There are 2 Gloves of Haste on Aoi's Bear right now. Is he going for a Midas?
Going double Midas.
Maybe he's going double Maelstrom. Which,
I don't know if that's the best idea.
I mean,
he can do it.
You know how the chances work like that. It's only slightly worse than having 1. I mean,
right.
Clockwise,
right. Uh-oh. 04 smoked up. He actually walked right into the jungle. Didn't notice everybody was there. Meanwhile, Eosin's going to get caught out. He's going to rage. He needs to, he needs some help right now. 04 is just sitting there. Big Stormhammer onto 3, but it's not going to matter. There's no rotations coming in just yet from anybody, really. Oh, but there's the Infest going, and now Eosin should get out. And he's actually going to pop his drum charge there. And there's no tier 1 tower here, so they can continue to chase, but they're not going to because that might have been suicide. So smart play there and a very nice rotation.
That was awesome by 04. He landed a huge storm hammer that stopped the clockwork from hitting him with cogs or anything like that. And while running from the bear, he hit him with war cry so that he had the extra movement speed to get away without getting like chance rooted. So I think that was really awesome by 04.
Oh, mid lane, Visa gonna go down, no split. Oh, he's gonna get defensive disruption. There's a big Stormhammer coming in. Way2's gonna try to get out. He's taking some damage. Tides will get the kill on Visa in the meantime. On the backside, 04 looking to go, not gonna get him. The blink comes out. Guanzo, though, looking on the high ground now, and he's not gonna be able to kill him. That refraction is up, unfortunately. So a nice pickup. Tides just walks in on the backside, says, I'll take this kill, thank you very much, and just gets out of there scot-free somehow.
Yeah, that was a really good play by Tides to finish the kill on Panda there. To just drop the cogs, and it does just so much damage for such like a small skill that no one really, that people like overlook. Like a lot of the time people get flare or something like that. When the cooldown doesn't really change that much, the damage increases at the same as cogs do. And you know, it's just interesting. It's pretty cool that someone's doing that now, and that was really awesome placement, because if he had placed it any more on top of him, you know, the Panda would have been inside and not taking damage. So.
Well, now you make me feel really bad because I missed that entire cog placement because I was chasing after Way2Sexy with this.
It was right after he got disrupted.
Right.
Ran up and dropped it right on the side of it.
Very smart play. Tides of Time has to be one of the smartest Dota players out there, I'd have to say. I mean, that's why he's the captain of this team, but just saying.
Takes good players to go with it too, because you have to really. The players have to know what you're doing at the same time. Like everyone has to really work together, and I'm sure you know that, but like. It's really tough for everyone to be just on the exact same page, you know, like, because even if they're all mid right now, like, what makes these players know that they need to, like, come stand behind him mid and stuff like that? What are they talking about? It's really interesting stuff.
It all comes down really to communication and just, not only communication, but just knowing to play, knowing how to play with each other, just playing plenty of matchmaking games or practicing really very important. So you got to give it to Dignitas. They're very, very skilled in that regard. They take their game very seriously, and I definitely appreciate them for that. But meanwhile, Eosin and Guanzo are actually going to try to go in the bottom lane, but now they're going to pop the drum charge, and they need to get out because Tides of Time was here and had a very nice cog placement again, as you, I'm sure, saw there, and very, very nice placement. Meanwhile, they're going to push mid, though. Pisa, 04, and Roar got fortification available. They're just trying to go for the tower. There is the fort going to fly. Eosin now going to try to go on this bear. It can be recreated, I'd imagine. And they're going to try to take the bear down. They will get it, but of course it can be recreated. TP coming in from Way2Sexy. And there's going to be a big Stormhammer hitting onto 2, stolen from the Rubik. Nice play from Monolith. Eosin now in some trouble. He's going to rage away. He's going to try to open wound on the bear, not doing enough damage. Nice vacuum wall going as well. There's the split going. Universe going to mech up as well. He might be in some trouble. Double kill for Guanzo on the backside with that kill, with that Orchid Stick just doing so much damage, and his strafe as well. They'll take 2. Maybe think about backing up 04, taking a bit of damage here. Can't afford to get that stolen. Meanwhile, well, Rubik's dead, but Eosin's actually going to get entangled up here. This bear doing so much damage, so very tanky. Way2Sexy also trying to chase. Sven's the only one down on the side of Eosin +4. There's the open wounds, going to turn right around. Looking to go. They don't have any vision, it doesn't look like. There's the meld damage going. There's the dust pop. But Templar Assassin should be okay. And that should be it there. I didn't even see Guanzo on the backside get that double kill. I had no idea where he was.
The biggest thing that I thought was really awesome there was that Eosin played really well hitting the bear, and I feel like, you know, if Ali had noticed that his bear was just really getting his ass kicked by that Nyx, that he should have ran it away sooner, because Nyx at one point was really low. Like, you saw him just get gone on, but then when he opened wounds the bear and started hitting it, he was stealing around 100 health per attack from the bear, not including life leech. So he was stealing probably near 160 health per attack on the bear when he was like getting hit for maybe 80 health. So he was healing more than he was getting hurt in there, and ended up, you know, better off than he was, and the bear took a considerable amount of damage even after he brought it back. So
I thought for sure Eosin was going to be dead, but that was a really nice, like you said, the rage, the open wounds as well. Very good. So nice job there. Yep. Meanwhile, continuing to farm. I mean, they've done a good job. I mean, Dignitas has been pushing towers and killing them. Ali 2000 actually just took a tower kill not too long ago. Tier 2s are only available on the map right now for Eosin +4. There is the Tier 1 available mid, of course, for Dignitas, so they have that slight margin of a lead. Looking at experience and gold, 750 experience for Eosin +4 right now, so this graph is continuing to get crazier and crazier as the game goes on. Meanwhile, gold has actually dipped down in favor of Eosin for about 500, which is a big deal. That Clinks has been really doing work with that Orchid Malevolence. You talked about it earlier. If you can get that quick Orchid, he's been getting some kills as well. So.
Yep. even the Darkseer's afraid of him. The Darkseer already has a Ghost Scepter, and Clinks nearly has a Chrysalis. There's still the gem on Tides, and Monolith really isn't close to anything, but you know, like, he's been getting a lot of support items out there and everything. The Bear, I think, just finished his Maelstrom. Yeah, he just finished his Maelstrom. A casual Gloves of Haste. The TA finished a Yasha and has a haste bottle right now, so you might, and he's up top just creeping around, so you may see him try to go on someone. And the Clinks has Nikes inside of him right now, and they're heading top, so they may be able to kill the TA, but they don't have any detection. Or at least I don't think so.
No, I don't think they have anything on the Nyx. He's got a lifesteal as a Sange, by the way. So, for any of you that were wondering about what I was talking about with an SNY earlier, you might
they're
find
going to go on the TA, and they're going to rely on Orchid.
Well, that's they gotta be sure here. This might be tough. So
if they can drop him fast enough, then his refraction just ran out, so they can definitely drop him.
Where's the silence? He's coming in. He's looking for it, thinking about it. There it goes. There's the silence. Snake's bomb gonna go. He's gonna try to. Oh, he's got a haste rune, but it's just too much damage. The amplification will get the kill there. The Orchid gonna pop off, doing just enough damage. Meanwhile, big fight gonna come in. There's nice cogs on the high ground, but Tides of Time is gonna go down real quick on the backside. Double kill for Guanzo. Monolith now gonna take a stone to the face. There's a Stormhammer coming in from Eosin, or 04, excuse me. Universe is gonna go down. Wall available, but he's too low. Nice. Going to be caught up by the Cyclone from the Air Panda, and he will go down. That's 4 for nothing. Starting off with a nice gank and then rotating in. And Tides of Time, you just got caught in 2. And just too much damage coming in from Guanzo on that freaking Clinks, man. He just pops shots. He just does so much damage there.
I think someone actually killed the gem. Unless the Bear picked it up. No? Yeah, I think someone killed the gem. It's not on either courier. No one on Eosin's team has it.
I mean, it was on Tides, was it not, when he died?
Yep. And
I think it must have been.
He died right on top of the Dire Ward where they fought.
And they're going to look for Roshan
Eosin
right now.
made a Saint Yasha.
Yep, I was talking about that. You know, people were maybe thinking this guy's retarded. No one goes SNY and Nyx. And you know what? Well, Eosin does. So there you go.
I thought he was gonna make a Heaven's Halberd for the TA. But, wow,
nope, not so.
Right there, he lost his Stormhammer mana just from that. From the call.
Yeah, but they do take the Aegis. Blinking in is actually way too sexy. He's got that double damage. Meanwhile, Open Wound's going on Monolith and the Rage, but Rage is stolen from Monolith. Of course, Monolith trying to get out. He'll be okay. Entangle going. There's the Vacuum Wall Replica gonna hit up. Beast's in some trouble. He doesn't have split. He has a mana for the split. He's gonna go down. Blinking up. Way too sexy. Gonna try to chase here. And Eosin will TP out 04 with the Warcry. Should be able to get out as well. So they lose 1, but they take the Roche. They take the Aegis. Guanzo has that up on him. He's going to have a Demon Edge into that Daedalus as well, which is going to be pretty important to have. So we'll have to see. It's looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, I think that Eosin and them are really far ahead. The Bear really doesn't have anything, and he'd be pretty easily soloed by Clinks or even Nikes, I think, at this point. So I don't think that Dignitas is that much like split push potential to where they can just run 4 people ganking and put the Bear in a lane. Whereas Eosin and them, I feel like they have a lot more potential to just sit there and kill people. Like, there you go, Rubik's dead right now, and he's just going to run away from the TA.
Yeah, there's no way that Guanzo's not going to get caught out here. Way too sexy, has that skeleton walk again. There's nothing they can do about that. He just does too much damage right now, especially against the underleveled heroes like, of course, Tides or Monolith, who's only sitting at 8, so he's not that far behind, but I mean, level 16 for this Clinks. He's 3 levels ahead of Aoi 2000 right now. His farm is pretty good. He's got 6 kills. The Nyx bomb has been working wonders for them. The Silent Stick, of course, always really nice to have on that Clinks. He's going to head down to the bottom and look for Aoi again. Aoi's maybe in trouble here. There's some heroes around, but they're not very close to this tier 2 tower. So Death Pact up for Guanzo. He's going to just try to go right on top of Aoi right now, and Aoi might be dead again. There's going to be the Silence. The Nyx opening up as well. He's going to try to TP out, but he's not going to make it. He is going to go down. Guanzo getting the kill. And a nice try from Aoi, but
his Demon Edge, or his completed Daedalus right there. He has 2.2k, and he just bought the recipe. So,
yep.
Wow. And I think that they're going to get that bottom tower. I really don't think Dignitas can do anything about it. I think that Rubik's going to die if he tries to stay there.
Yeah, they can easily dive him here. They can open wounds, they can rage. Monolith has to be careful. He'll steal a spell, but I mean, there you see their skeleton walking. They're looking for the chase right now. He's going to need to be careful, but so will, of course, Guanzo and Eosin. They're going to get back to tower range right now. Meanwhile, Templar Assassin getting the top tier 2. Nice play there to try to get something in exchange for this. Meanwhile, mid's getting pushed as well to tier 2. So nice split pushing coming in from Eosin +4. They're looking very good. They're impressing me so far. Of course, the hook shot came out from Tides of Time. Might have missed. I didn't actually see where he was going with it. Meanwhile, roaming in is Guanzo. Might just open right on top of Tides of Time. Meanwhile, Beast is going to use his split. Now they're going to fight this universe very low to going down here. God Strength going to go. Oh, just so much damage from Clinks with that Daedalus up on him. He's going to get a monster kill. And now they're going to go for the tower with Strafe up. And Guanzo's looking good.
So they couldn't really go run on anyone. The only one who wasn't in it was the Earth Panda. So they didn't have anything to like stop them from running like Cyclone. Looks like 04 might die here. They get a plucky Roots. Oh, no Roots this game.
Yeah, I mean, the bear was slowed, so that was a very nice play from Beast to make sure that he really couldn't get there. I mean, but now...
Has the Spear Bear rooted anyone this game?
I mean, he might have. He's rooted Eosin once or twice, but it doesn't really matter because he's too tanky. Oh, the split's stolen now from Monolith. He's going to go in. Looking for some kills now. Dignitas trying to turn this around. There's Open Wounds. Bisa going in with that clap, and Universe is silenced as well. He gets caught in by his own team. Clay's going to get the kill there. Way Too Sexy will fall next. Double kill for Guanzo right now. Still chasing 04, looking for a Stormhammer. He's got it. He's going to fly on Aoi 2000. Open Wounds on Tides. He doesn't have cogs or anything. Tides will go down. Gem of True Set on the ground. Triple kill for Guanzo. Looking for Aoi. There's the blinket from Bisa. The bear. Ultra kill for Guanzo. Maybe a rampage if he goes after Aoi, but it's not going to happen. They're not going to push into that. And Guanzo. Yeah, that's 27 minutes. He's got 12 kills. He's probably sitting at pretty good for GPM. Yep, 542 right now. And the gold and experience 10,000. Gold 7,500. Looking good.
Dignitas didn't. They had a good initiation on the Clinks there, even if he has you know, the Aegis, but there's a really nice disruption from Roadrock on him, stopped him from taking any damage for a considerable amount of time, and then as soon as he was out, he just started picking them all off.
There was a root, by the way,
yep.
In case you were wondering about that. You saw that? Right. Yeah, okay, good.
Finish this then.
Oh, Eosin's very fast. Didn't use that drum charge. He's very quick, as you can see. Meanwhile, chasing, Tides of Time getting the kill on the Shadow Demon with those cogs. Nice job there. And that should be the end of the chase, but Melee Rax is gone now for the side of Dignitas. Eosin loses a few heroes, but really this critical mass of Guanzo is just going to keep increasing. There's no way they're going to be able to really stop him. He's got the Aegis still for what seems to be about another minute-ish, roughly. I mean, Eosin has a Skull Bash right now, so that secondary amount of damage is coming, and he also has that SMY, which does make him a little bit of everything, which is nice to have. He's quite a bit quicker. And you know what? I'm going to defend that build until the death, so I don't care what anyone says. SNY Lifestealer. It's a good hero. It's a good build.
Well, it can be. I think that in this game it was definitely the right choice. They have the slow from the Panda. They have a stun from Sven. They have a purge and everything from Shadow Demon, but you know, they really don't have an excess of like stuns and stuff like that to keep whoever in place that Nikes can just beat on them. Like, they don't have cogs or anything. They don't have lift. They don't have surge to put on Nikes. They don't have like bear root. They don't have traps. So I think that, you know, getting a lot of move speed in the Basher is a good choice in this game, and it can be in like a few games, you know.
But why you don't need the disables like you were talking about when you've got the Nyx bomb. And now 2000 going to try to get out, but it doesn't look like he's going to make it this time. Yes, he will go down. Sven actually getting the kill there somehow. I don't know how he picked that up. He wasn't even close. Maybe with a Stormhammer. Flying. Nope, no Stormhammer, so I don't know what happened there, but he got the kill. Maybe the work around the creeps, I'd imagine, helped him get that kill. That's strange, but whatever.
Cleave.
That's true. The Cleaver forgot about that too. For whatever reason. Spell stolen from the Rubik. What is it? It is Warcry, so that's nice to have. Not necessarily God Strength, however. But ranged Rack's taken down, and now they're going to go for the tier 3 bottom. And Strafe's going to fly. There's no fortification, and Dignitas' time is running out. They might go down to the lower bracket, and this could be a huge upset, but a nice vacuum coming in the wall, though. Silence before he can get it off. Universe trying to get out, taking some damage. There's a nice disruption defensively, of course. No, offensively on Way Too Sexy. He's in some trouble. There's the Demonic Purge. He's going to refract up, but he's dead. Clinks with a double kill in the meantime. And everybody is dead in the blink of an eye. Universe is going to be next. Guanzo with a triple kill. Guanzo not going to die this game, it looks like, sitting at 16-0-2. And man, Clinks, your back's must really hurt right now. It's painful.
Yeah, he's got 5.3k back. He's either going to buy some huge damage item or he's going to save the buyback. But this looks fairly over. I mean,
yeah. You gotta hand it to Eosin, man. We came in here, we thought, well, Dignitas is, they're pretty good. They're Dignitas, and even with a stand-in, I know Monolith is a very good player. I've seen him play before, so, I mean, certainly not anybody's fault on the side of Dignitas. Just a really well-played game from Eosin. GG will be called right now. Oh, shout out to Target. There you go. Nice for him from Eosin. Meanwhile, Monolith's going to get the kill on 0-4 with that Fade Bolt, but AoE 2000 might be next here, and he's taking some damage, but Demonic Purge is going to go, and we're just finishing up the formalities. Now, big vacuum into Walt as well. Eosin's going to get rooted up. He's taking some damage. Eosin going to go down. Double kill for Rubik. Meanwhile, Guanzo is just trying to right-click the well, and he's doing a good job of it, but Visa now might be in some trouble. He'll fall, and they're actually going to wipe him four down on the side, of course, of Eosin, but yeah, they called GG, so I don't know. And Eosin disconnects, so maybe not. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Dignitas called GG, but now the also disconnect with AoE 2000 leaving the game as well. Tied, so this looks to be over. This was a best-of-1 series, so headed down to the lower bracket is Dignitas, and Eosin takes a very convincing game. And they're going to go on to probably the grand finals, I believe, is how it works. So they'll be playing for that increased prize pool as well as the prize of getting first place. And these two teams may meet again, assuming if Dignitas can make it through that lower bracket. Once again, thanks for joining us here on Neo Dota. You can follow us at twitter.com/NeoDota2. Follow us on this channel, and youtube.com/NeoDota2 is where the VOD will be in approximately probably 12 hours, something like that. I don't know. Anyways, I'm Maut. You can follow me at twitter.com/MautDota2. With me tonight is Anacletus, and I don't know if they can find you anywhere. I don't even know if you have a Twitter or anything, but
I don't, but
that's disappointing.
It is.
Maybe you should get one.
Someday. Maybe.
Okay. Alright. Fine. But any closing thoughts before we head out of here as soon as Monolith DCs?
I don't know. I think Eosin knew what they wanted to do with that game going into it, and I think that they just pressed their advantages. Like, they were out-farmed early, they were behind on gold and everything like that, they were down a tower, and they got up the items they needed, and they made stuff happen. That's just picture perfect of what they wanted to happen. They got ganks on Bear and kept him low so they couldn't really push towers. They got ganks on, you know, all their supports and everything with Clinks. They didn't die mid or anything. They didn't lose any towers that like would give up farm and stuff like that. They held what they needed to and got farm when they needed to, and then they decisively won the game.
Absolutely, and I think a lot of the credit goes to not only just the team play as well, but man, Guanzo. 16 kills, 2 assists. He's not about the assists, he's about the kills. He's about getting the last hits, and man, he pumped out the damage there in the mid game. But yeah, we talked about it, and Dignitas just couldn't come back, and their draft, I think, suffered a little bit as well. Maybe they weren't really sure how to implement Clockwork in their laning strategy or things like that. Of course, Fogged is so very good, and missing him, of course. And Monolith trying to fill in, of course, it didn't work out too well, but I mean, I know Monolith's a very good player, so once again, we're going to be done here for tonight. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. Make sure you check out the VODs. Check out twitter.com/NeoDota2. We'll have some more games coming for you sometime soon, hopefully this weekend or things like that. Once again, you can follow me at twitter.com/MautDota2. I'm with Anacletus tonight, and we really enjoyed bringing you this cast, so have a good night, guys, and